name is Mary Rose Iliasis Laranjo. We're going to tackle about title of records of real estate fundamentals. So before we go into dwell about it, have you ever thought about makes a property officially yours? It's not just about handing over money or shaking hands in a deal. It's about having a legally recorded title that proves ownership. Imagine buying a property or a house and later finding out someone else claiming to it. Scary, right? That's why understanding title records, land registration, and land title and protection is so very important. Whether you're going to buy a house, inherit a land, investing in a real estate, knowing how this title works can save you from legal headaches and financial losses. So, let's break it down into simple in a straightforward way. What is property ownership? Means you have a legal rights over it and you can live it, rent it out, sell it, or you have the control to enter or use it. Make changes as long as they follow the law. And there are different ways to own a property. First, sole ownership means one person owns it. Second, joint ownership. Two or more people share ownership. Third is trust ownership. A trustee holds it for someone's benefit. And lastly, business ownership is a company owns that property. So here's the catch. Owning a property isn't enough. You must have to prove it with a legally recorded title. So why are the title records so important? Title records are officially government documents that establish property ownership history. They ensure transparency and legal security in real estate transactions. So, without proper title recording, property disputes, fraud, or ownership confuse can arise. So, how recording protects ownership? Imagine, two people claim to own the same piece of land. Let's just say, person A buys a house from a seller but fails to record the title or the title deed. Then, here comes that person B buys the same house from the same seller later but recorded the title immediately with the county clerk. So when the legal disputes arise, the court recognizes person B as the rightful owner because the recorder or they record the title first. So, let's just keep in mind, recording protects ownership rights and ensures the title is legally enforceable. If you fail to record, you might lose the rights even if you paid the property. Now, when it comes to title, there are two, marketable title and unmarketable title. So what's the difference? A marketable title is like a clean record. It's legally valid, free from disputes, and easy to sell. On the other hand, unmarketable title has a problem that make it hard or even impossible to sell. These problems can include unpaid debts or legal claims on the property, someone else claiming ownership, and error in the legal description of the property or missing signatures from a previous owners. So, example, imagine you buy a beautiful piece of land, but later a long-lost family member of the previous owner, forward claiming, still own it. Because the title wasn't properly cleared, you're now stuck in a legal mess. So we always have to keep in mind, always check the title thoroughly before buying any property.
Land Registration Authority, or also known as LRA, is an agency of the Philippine government attached to the Department of Justice, responsible for issuing decrees of registrations and certificates of title and registered documents, patents, and other land transactions for the benefits of landowner, agrarian reform beneficiaries, and the registering public in general, providing a secure, stable, and trustworthy record of land ownership and recorded interest therein so as to promote social and economic well-being and contribute to the national development.
Why is land registration important? Think of the land registration as your official proof of ownership if your name is not recorded in the official land record. Might as well be holding a handwritten receipt it won't mean such legally. In the Philippines, the Land Restoration Authority or LRA is responsible for number 1, issue the land title. Number 2, recording sales mortgages. And number 3 is keeping land record accurate and secure. Without proper registration, multiple people could claim the same property leading to endless court battle.
Next, we have public records and recording. Recording means placing of documents in a public record. All written instruments affecting any states, rights, title, or interest in any real estate must be recorded in the county or place where the property is located. It means to be eligible for recording, an instrument must be drawn and executed in accordance with the local recording statutes. Examples: many states requires the names be typed below the signatures on the document that the instrument be acknowledged before a notary public. And other examples, many states requires that the name and address of the attorney and other authorized person who prepared the document appeared on it as well.
How does it work? Whatever a property changes hands, whatever it's sold, gifted, inherited, it must be recorded in public land record to be legally recognized. Step in title recording. Number 1, the buyer received a deed, a legal document proving the sale. Number 2, the deed is submitting to local and land registration office. Number 3 is get stamped, filed, and assigned a reference number. Number 4, the new owner name is officially part of the public record. Why is it important? Imagine you can buy a house but forget to record the title. Later, the seller illegally sell it to someone else and they record their title first. Even if you paid for the house, the law will likely slide with the person who officially recorded their ownership. So keep in mind, recording your title is the only way to protect your ownership.
So there are two kinds of notice in real estate. First one is constructive notice. It is the presumption of law that makes the buyer responsible for learning this information. And the second one is actual notice. It expresses information or fact that is which known as actual knowledge. Through the common law doctrine of caveat emptor, the courts charge a prospective real estate buyer or mortgage with the responsibility of inspecting the property and searching the public records to learn of the possible interests of other parties. Constructive notice is a presumption of law that makes the available for buyers or lenders to learn. So they are responsible for learning it, as you can see it in figure 1 of constructive notice, which is divided into two parts. First one is inspection of the property and the second one is recorded instruments. But these two interconnects in all of the persons charged with knowing.
Understanding notice in real estate. Before buying a property, you're expected to check its history and legal status. This is where notice comes in. Constructive notice or public knowledge. The law assumes that everyone should know what's in public records. If there's an unpaid loan or legal dispute over the property, buyers are responsible for checking these records before purchasing. So, for example, you visit a house you want to buy and see an eviction notice on the door. Even if it's not in public records yet, you know there's a problem with the property. And to keep in mind, always check public records and do your research before buying a property.
Real estate taxes and special assessments are direct lines on specific parcels of real estate and need not to be recorded in the recorder's office, as they are already considered to be matters of public record. Inheritance tax and franchise taxes are placed by statutory authority against all real estate owned are also not recorded. Foreign language documents. Deeds or mortgages written in foreign language, although valid between parties, usually do not impart constructive notice when recorded. So, recorded documents must be in English language, and an official translation by a consulate of the country in which the country is used when attached to a foreign language document may meet the state recording requirement. So its priorities, lots of problems may arise from complicated situations that may affect the priority of rights in a parcel of a real estate.
Chain of title. The chain of title is a historical record of who has owned a piece of property over time. It helps confirm who the rightful owner is and to ensure there are no gaps of missing links in ownership. So let's just say, for example, imagine a house that has been owned by several people over the years. So the first person in 1800s, the US government originally granted the land to a farmer. So after a decade, in the year of 1900s, the farmer grandson sold it to the local businessman. Then it came to the third person, which after a decade, year 2000s, the businessman sold it to Sarah. So here comes the present. Sarah wants to sell it to Jake. So before buying, Jake checks the chain of title to make sure every past owner properly transferred ownership. So this protects him from legal disputes like someone claiming they still own the house. So why does it matter that Jake do? If there's a gap in the records, like for example, missing deed, the ownership might be unclear. So in such cases, a court process called a suit or to quiet title used to officially decide who owns the property.
What is the evidence title? When buying or financing a property, the buyer or lender needs proof that the seller is legal owner and that there are no issue with the ownership. This proof is called evidence of title. Why is it important? Imagine you can buy a house, you need to be sure that the seller truly owned the property. There are no hidden deeds or legal claims. No one else right to the property. If the title has problem, it could be lead to legal disputes or financial loss.
Let's keep going. We're now in the abstract of title and lawyer's opinion. So what is the difference of the two? The abstract of title is a summary of documents that shows the history of a property's ownership, while the lawyer's opinion is a legal interpretation of the property titles based on the abstract. So how an abstract of title works? First, it starts with the governance ownership of the land, and it includes multiple sections, each covering a specific period, and each section should continue from the last without gaps. So how it is important? Its importance in doing in chronological order. When an abstract is prepared or updated, all records must be listed in the order they happen. So this also helps ensure there are no missing documents or breaks in the property's ownership history.
So, who is an abstractor? An abstractor is a professional responsible for collecting, analyzing, and summarizing property records to create an abstract of title. Their primary role is to ensure that a property's legal history is accurate and complete. So, the key responsibilities of an abstractor is to research property records, which is to gather deeds, mortgages, tax records, judgments, and legal documents. To summarize the findings, they organize the data in chronological order to trace the ownership history. And to certify the abstract, they issue a certificate stating what records were examined and when. And to exercise due care, they ensure no missing information. Errors can lead to legal issues. So, the abstractor does not make legal judgments on the title's condition. And they submit to attorneys for review. And the final abstract is given to the buyer's lawyer who verifies if the title is clear. And why title evidence systems can be imperfect. Title evidence systems like abstract of title plus attorney's opinion or certification of title are methods to confirm property ownership and uncover potential defects. However, these methods aren't flawless and can be challenged for several reasons. So first is forgery and fraud. Forged deeds or fake signatures might slip through if they look authentic. False statements like incorrect marital status or hidden co-owners are hard to spot in paper records alone. These issues can invalidate what appears to be a clean title. Second is human error. Abstractors and attorneys can overlook key documents or misinterpret legal descriptions. Even a small clerical error like a misspelled name or mismatched property boundary can lead to a big legal problems down the road. And the third one is limited legal recourse. If a mistake is found later, like a missing signature from a co-owner, there may be no straightforward way for the new buyer to recover losses. Lawsuits can be time-consuming and expensive, and the outcome isn't always guaranteed. And the fourth one is incomplete records. Other properties may have missing documents or poorly maintained records. This can create gaps in the chain of title that an abstract might not fully resolve. So, how does title insurance addresses these imperfections? First is financial protection. If a defect arises, like a long lost hair challenges the title, title insurance covers the buyer's legal costs and potential losses. Second is legal defense. Title insurance companies defend their insured clients in court if a dispute arises about the property's ownership. The third and last one is peace of mind. Even if an attorney or abstractor misses something, the insurance policy acts as a safety net, ensuring the buyer isn't left with a huge financial burden. And for an example scenario, John purchases a home using an abstract title and attorney's opinion. Everything seems fine until 2 years later an unrecorded line from a previous owner appears. Because the abstract didn't reveal this hidden line, John is on the hook of the debt. Unless he has a title insurance which would cover the line or pay to resolve it. In summary, traditional title evidence methods like abstracts, attorney opinions, and certifications can overlook fraud, errors, or missing records. Title insurance offers an extra layer of security by financially protecting owners and lenders from unforeseen title defects.
Now, let's proceed for the forms of insurance policy. So one is mortgage title insurance policy. So what does it cover? This protects a lender from banks or mortgage company by ensuring they have a valid first line on the property. So why does it matter? If someone challenges the property ownership or if there's a hidden claim, the lender is protected from financial loss up to the amount of the mortgage. So for you to understand, let's just say we come up to the example. A bank give you a home loan. Later, a title defect appears. So the mortgage title policy cover the bank interest. So ensuring they aren't left unpaid if the title issue invalidates the mortgages. Second is leasehold title insurance policy. So what does it cover? Protects a tenant or lease who has a long-term lease on a property. So why does it matter? Ensures that the tenant rights to occupy the property is valid and defend against challenges to their leasehold interests. Let's just say, for example, if a third party claims the landlord didn't have the right to lease it. So, again, example, you lease a storefront for 10 years. And if someone disputes the landlord ownership, the leasehold policy can recover your losses or like relocation costs of your lost business if your lease is ruled or invalid. Lastly is the certificate of sale policy. So when it's come to sale policy, issue to a purchaser in a court-ordered sale, so or like foreclosed or tax sales. So why does it matter? Confirms that the buyer's interest in the property is protected if a former owner or another party challenges the legality of the court sale. So, for example, you buy a foreclosed home at a public auction. Later, the previous owner claims the foreclose was done incorrectly. A certificate of a sale policy helps recover from legal costs or losses if the court invalidates the sales. So, for you to understand, all this policy serves specifically for purposes. They protect the party of financial or legal interest in the property like lender, tenant, purchasers, or the court sale. They do not necessarily cover the full value of a property, but they only protected the particular interest of the insured party. ALTA, or what we call the American Land Title Association, is a national organization made up of land title companies across the United States. So it sets a professional standards and ethical guidelines to ensure consistent, high-quality service in the title industry. So what are the key points? Who they are? So over 2,000 members company titles insurers or abstractors title agents. So the question, what they do? Develop standards or develop the standardized forms of title insurance policy, like promote best practices in conducting title searches and issuing policies. So they maintain ethical standards to ensure so the customers can trust the title industry. So the question is, why does it matter? ALTA standardized forms of guidelines in making the title insurance coverage more uniform across the country. So this consistency protects buyers, sellers, and lenders from confusion or gaps in the coverage. So in other words, ALTA helps ensure that whether you're buying a home in California or Maine, the title insurance process follows a reliable set of rules and ethical practices. So next, here we comes the Torrens system. So it was developed in 1857 by Sir Robert Torrens in Australia. So the Torrens system is a way to register real estate so that the government office, or often called the Register of Titles, keep a definite record of who owns the property. So how it works? First, the property owner registered their land with the government. Second, the government issue a Torrens certificate stating the official owner. Third, this certificate is a final evidence of ownership. So no lengthy title searches are needed to prove who owns the land. So voluntarily in many places, in at least 10 in the US states, registration isn't mandatory. So the owners can keep using standard recording system or option into the Torrens system for extra certainty. So what are the benefits of it? So once you register, the government essentially guarantees the title, reducing the chance of ownership disputes. So in short, the Torrens system offers a secure government backup or way to confirm who owns a property and making real estate transactions simpler and more reliable. So how Torrens registration typically works in most states? First, they file an application. So it means the owner submits a written application to the county court where the property is located, and this application must list all the facts about the property, including any existing clients or legal claims. Second, court hearing. So when it comes to court, they schedule a hearing and notifies anyone who might have a legal interest in the property. And if someone believes they have a rights to the property, they can appear in the court and present their claim. Next, court decision. If the court is satisfied that the applicant truly owns the property and there are no valid opposing claims, it issues an order confirming ownership. So, lastly, registration. The court orders is sent to Registrar of Titles or similar office. The registrar officially registers the property and issues a torrent certificate, making the applicant the recognized owner. So, in result, once they're registered under the torrent system, ownership is governed back up. So, making it more harder for anyone to challenge the title in the future. So to break down the facts of torrents registered land, first registration, not just the deed, transfer ownership. If a property is just under in the torrent system, handing over on a deed alone doesn't make you the owner. So you must register the deed with the torrents office to legally transfer the title. Second is registrar keeps original document. So when you register under torrents, the register of title usually keeps the original paper, and this ensures a secure and central record of all property documents. Third is official certificate, shows all lines. So the torrent certificate on a file lists the current owner and any mortgage, judgment or lines. This make it easy to see if the property has debts or legal claims attached. Fourth, no adverse possession. Under torrents, no one can claim ownership simply by living on or using the property without permission, or like known as adverse possession. Registration protects the true owner rights. Fifth, rules vary by state. In some places, once you register your land under torrents, you must keep it under that system. In other states, you can remove it from the torrents registration if you wish. So the bottom line here, torrents registration offers a secure government back up or back way to prove ownership. So but it comes to specific rules like needing to register any transfer to make it official and preventing ownership claims through adverse possession. Now, certificate of title. In some areas, an attorney may issue a certificate of title instead of preparing a full abstract of title. Here what it means. Attorney review, so the attorney checks the public records like the deeds, liens, and mortgage to confirm who currently owns the property and whether there are any issues like unpaid debts, legal disputes, or etc. Second, certificate issuance. After reviewing, the attorney provides a certificate of title which states their professional opinion on the title status and lists any liens or encumbrances. Third, limitation. Not the same as title insurance. A certificate of title does not automatically protect you against financial losses if problems arise later. In simply, an attorney judgment based on the available records. In the bottom line here, a certificate of title gives you a legal opinion on a property ownership and potential issue. But for the full financial protection, many buyers still choose to get the title insurance. So what is Uniform Commercial Code, or what we call the UCC? The UCC is a set of laws that standardize how business transactions are handled across all US states. So it covers sales, leases, negotiable instruments, bank deposit, funds transfer, letters of credit, and more. So creating a security interest in a property or shuttle of fixtures. When a lender wants to secure a loan with a personal property like equipment, inventory, the UCC requires a security agreement. So a financial statement or like a short public notice is filed at a governance or government office or recorder office to let others know there's a line on those items. So this includes a legal description of the property if the items are attached to the real estate. In Article 6 book, meaning Book of Transfers. So It states that the book of transfers happen when a business owner sells most of the inventory or asset, like merchandise, supplies, in a one big sale outside the normal course of business. Let's just say, for example, a clothing store owner sells all the store remaining in an inventory to a single buyer in one transaction. In a purpose of Article 6, to prevent a fraud, stop business owner from selling off all their asset and disappearing without paying their debts. So, in a clear title requirements, under the Article 6, the buyer won't automatically get a clear title to the goods unless they follow the specific rules. First is notify the creditors of the seller. Second, verify that all debts and obligations tied to the inventory are addressed. If the buyer fails to comply, creditors could still claim the sold goods or demand payment because the seller owed them money first. So, for you to understand, the UCC ensures fairness and transparency in commercial transactions. In financing statements, protect lenders by publicity or publicly recording a client on a property. And book transfer rules protects creditors by preventing a seller from secretly offloading all inventory and vanishing without selling debts. So, in our conclusion here about this article, buying or selling in a real estate isn't just about handing over a deed. Recording acts make sure everyone knows who truly owns a property by keeping those records public. In that way, potential buyers can see the property history like past owners and any outstanding debts and avoid unwanted surprise. Still, in a deed alone doesn't guarantee you're getting marketable title. That's why we have this evidence of title tools such as a lawyer, opinions, title insurance, torrent certificate, or certificate of title to confirm the ownership and protect you from hidden claims of disputes. Plus, the Uniform of Commercial Code or UCC adds an extra layer of protection for personal property items that come with the real estate. So in short, recording and verifying property titles keep transaction transparent, protect investments, and ensure everyone knows where they stand and making the real estate process smoother and more secure for all. That's all. Thank you.